2020, I'm sure it's one of those years that no one could have anticipated. We got hit globally by the pandemic, and a lot of businesses got affected in the most hectic way you could possibly imagine. Eye care practices had to quickly adapt and adjust to the way they've always been doing things. Many practices didn't survive. Many practices realized that the level at which they thought they were operating at versus the level that they were supposed to be operating at were worlds apart. The way businesses were doing things was not the way they were supposed to have been doing things all along. A lot of gaps were identified in many optometric businesses the world wide over. And so while we were working with a lot of optometric practices, we developed this business leadership program for optometrists, optometric practices that we have been implementing over the years. And it's a 12-month program that businesses subscribe to the platform, and we work with them month after month with various strategies that they need to implement on a month-to-month basis in order to get their businesses to the level of excellence, revenue growth, and transformation that they deserve to be in. So as we realized that, including the companies that we had been working with, a lot of them were not consistent. A lot of them were not disciplined enough to implement some of the changes and recommendations that we had suggested. And I could only imagine what was happening with practices that the last time they made any significant change in their businesses was 5-10 years ago. And so we sat down as a company and we looked at, now that we are in this pandemic influenced environment, what can we do as a business to help optometrists, optometric practices get to the level that they deserve to be in? How do they navigate this difficult time with the optometric industry? How do they continue to grow, thrive, and excel in this uncertain economic environment that we're finding ourselves in? And that led to a vision strategic guide for optometrists. This book was launched at the beginning of 2021, and wow, this literally was the most difficult book that we had to write, because it had to take into consideration so many elements that can affect a business at whichever stage that the business may operate at. Whether it's a business that has been in operation for 40 years, a business that has been in operation for 2 years, every single business was affected by the pandemic, whether it was in a good way or a bad way. I'm a firm believer, by the way, that eye care actually should have gone through the best time ever as a result of the pandemic. Yes, a lot of patients are not coming into the practice before, but then that could be patients that you have always been seeing that are cutting back on the costs. But with that being said, more and more patients were sitting in front of the computers like never before, of different age groups. And so that should resulted in more patients coming to your practice seeking eye care related solutions because of the impact that digital devices are having on their eyes. And so if that was not happening, it means there was something that you were not doing that you were supposed to be doing. So this book is literally a breakdown of all the different strategies that you can think of. I will actually, instead of going in the front and coming this way, we actually just made it very simple. We've got a strategic growth matrix that we have highlighted in this particular book. And we have broken down the book into 3 parts. Part 1 has got 3 chapters, part 2 has got 3 chapters, and part 3 has got 3 chapters. Part 1, it's the attractive appeal. Part 2, it's the financial growth aspects of a business. And part 3 is sustainability. What do we mean by all these different parts? Well, in each and every single chapter, we look at 3 things. We look at the consumer, we look at the market that the practice operates in, and we look at your optometric practice. And so this growth matrix looks at, for example, under the attractive appeal, and this will be chapter 1. You look at the consumer requirements, competition, business solutions. So let me actually go back here and actually break it down to you guys about the book. So when we talk about the attractive appeal of the business, we say, what is it about your business that makes it unique and stand out as compared to other businesses? That's a question that we ask you. We discuss in detail the attractive appeal regarding the consumers you serve. What does the consumer require that you have? The market your business operates in. How is the competition in relation to your offering? We look at the optometric practice that you are building, why you need to upgrade your current business solutions. That is all in part 1, the attractive appeal. If you look at part 2, the financial growth, we say, can your business still be able to grow in the midst of poor economic growth, unexpected global crisis, and constantly changing economic environments? And so we discuss in detail the financial growth regarding the consumers you are serving. And the question there is, how can you drive revenue up with the consumer? Then we look at the market your business operates in. The question there is how to be ahead of the competition when everyone is upgrading themselves. What a question, eh? How do you continue to be ahead of the competition when everyone else is upgrading themselves? At chapter 3, the optometric practice that you are sacrificing for. What major changes do you have to make when it comes to the cost structure in your optometric practice? And then phase 3, which is the aspect of sustainability. Are you building a business that is geared to still exist and thrive in the next 20 to 40 years, and that is evolving at a fast pace as technology keeps on evolving? And then we discuss in detail what it takes to build a sustainable business regarding the following. We go back again to the consumer that you're serving. The question that we have there, how to engage and communicate with the consumers in order to build sustainability. The next chapter here, we say, market that your business operates in. The question there is how to remain relevant and disruptive at all times. And then the last element here is the optometric practice that you are taking to the next level. The question there is how to adapt and remain flexible when changes take place faster than the industry is actually changing at the same time. So those are the 3 elements that are involved in the different chapters. This literally stretched us. In us writing this book, it literally stretched us. If you look at the chapters under chapter 1 is consumer requirements. Chapter 2, the market, specifically focusing on the competition. Chapter 3, practice, the optometry practice. The focus there is the business solutions. And so that's what I meant by chapter 1, consumer requirements. Chapter 2, competition. Chapter 3, business solutions. When you go to phase 2, financial growth, the chapters there will be chapter 4, revenue growth. Chapter 5, the competitive advantage that we spoke about. Chapter 6, profitability. Then when you go to the last chapter, or last phase, the 3 last chapters, chapter 7, consumer engagement. Chapter 8, being disruptive. And chapter 9, adaptability. So this is the growth matrix that we highlight in the book. The book has got many elements where we ask various questions and you have to fill in the answer for yourself, because it holds you accountable. As you're going through the different book, it literally holds you accountable in terms of where you at versus where you deserve to be at, and what changes you need to make in your optometric practices in each and every single section of the book that can help you strategize better and equip your practice with the relevant strategies, resources that it deserves to implement effectively. And you will see, if you're struggling with the book, get in touch with us. But this book was written in a manner in which you literally are looking, as you're going through the book, you're going to need a pen and paper. You're going to need to sit down with your executive team, whether your business is only has 3 employees in it or you've got multiple practices that you are running. This is the book to get. I can actually safely conclude that this was the most difficult project we had to run, because a lot was at stake. Practices are desperate. Business owners are scared. What's the next few years will look like as a result of this practice of pandemic? And so we put everything into this book. It's not that we didn't put everything into the other books, but obviously as our business keeps on growing over the years, our offering keeps on evolving so that your business can operate at the highest level of excellence, revenue growth, and of course transformation. I urge you, get a copy of this book. You will not regret it. Books at visionstraight.co.za. You will enjoy it, and you will thank us for making the different strategies that you can think of so practical and into a book. You can literally, it's fairly thick, but you will enjoy it because it's something that I believe, that we as a company believe your business needs right now. Do connect us with us on all online platforms, social media, specific Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would love to hear from you in the comment section, what you're thinking about this video, more questions that you might have in terms of the difficulties that you're experiencing in your practice at the current moment. We would love to have a meeting with you, consult with you, and help you navigate through this difficult period that we are all facing in, so that you can start excelling and thriving again in your optometric business.